Tell us when we're live.
Okay, we are live.
Hey everyone, and welcome to A Stream in Scarlet. I am, of course, your host, Jared the Greek. With me is Eri Kagami. We are here to talk about nerdy stuff and things, and my birthday, which just happened, and we still have some cake right here. Delicious, delicious cake.
We are meow sticks.
Yep.
That is until you can figure out your laptop situation.
Yeah, I know.
We are meow sticks. Yes, meow. Okay, let's talk about Heroes Assemble.
Yeah, so one of the fun things we got to do last week was we got to go to Disney for technically California Adventure for
Still the
Heroes
same
Assemble.
Thing. Disneyland Resort.
This was an event where they were, kind of celebrating. Well, okay, first off, I think we should describe what the Disneyland After Dark things are, because we've done one of these in the past, but before we did this show.
Yeah, so we did a Star Wars Disneyland After Dark. So Disney, they started doing a series of these After Dark events. So basically, they close off the park for several hours after like 9 o'clock, whichever. And it's closed off to a special ticketed event called Disneyland After Dark. And there's different themes. First one was Retro Night, which was kind of like a nod and a wink to the Dapper Day crowd. Like, hey, Dapper Day crowd, you got money. Spend extra tickets for Disneyland After Dark.
Yeah, basically.
And then there was also Star Wars Night, which you and I did last year. Because the way how I wanted to just pick and choose which ones we wanted to go to, because going to these events, average ticket price will be like around about $100
per person. Yeah.
And we just wanted to just pick and choose which ones we thought would be worth our while. Like there was a Sweethearts Night, and I don't know.
At least some of the people we talked to in line were not hugely happy with Sweethearts Night.
The cool thing about Disneyland After Dark is they bring out characters that normally don't come out. So all the AP holders like to go in and get the photo ops with the characters. There's actually longer lines to get photos with characters than actually going on the attractions.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
If you're someone who can only afford, who can't afford an annual pass or a day ticket, I highly recommend going to these if you just want to do attractions. Because you can just literally walk onto an e-ticket ride like Indiana Jones or Space Mountain and ride your heart's content.
I mean, what was it like? I don't know if we even were waiting in line for Incredicoaster.
We just walked on.
We just followed the group of people who were going on, and we all just got on.
I mean, got a lot of high rider capacity.
Guardians may have been a little bit more crazy just because Marvel Night, but...
So they have a lot of these exclusive character ops. They have backdrops that you can pose with, really catering to the Instagram generation. I mean, which is cool. Technically, we are part of those Instagrammers. Mm-hmm. You can follow our Instagrams on our bio dealy here.
That's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. Jared's eating his carrot cake right now. Like the rabbit he is.
I love carrot cake. Super underrated, people.
And a lot of times when they announce the After Dark events, sometimes it's 2 months out. So we found out about Heroes Assemble around February. And I originally thought I was just going to be okay, it's a general, celebrate all Disney heroes apart from the MCU, like Big Hero 6. Even though that's technically part of Marvel, but it's not part of the MCU. And the Incredibles, etc., etc. Yeah. But it was very Marvel focused. But do go on, Jared.
Okay, first thing I wanted to go before we get too much into Marvel Night. The one we missed that was kind of the bummer, especially when we saw the pictures, was 90s Night.
That looked awesome.
Oh my gosh. Every Disney Afternoon character was there. Electric Plug Man guy from Powerline from the Goofy movie was there. And Don Carnage was there. So we've got some villains from Disney Afternoon, which haven't been seen in the park in God knows how many years. Now, I don't know what the backdrops were for all that, but the characters were oh my gosh, I missed out on all these amazing photo ops. Which is a really weird thing for me to be into, because when I was younger, I didn't like posting up the characters.
Same here. Even when we went to Knott's, Deb was with us and hey, because you and I have really grown to love photo ops throughout the years.
Yeah.
I mean, I was also like that too, where really, we got to get a picture with Mickey Mouse. Waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we had some downtime at Knott's, and you and I are super into photo ops. Deborah was with us, and hey, let's get a picture with Snoopy. She's like, really?
Yeah, she hasn't gotten to the fun point of like, no, we're an adult now. We can actually like pose with them and do funny stuff. When as a little kid, you're like, I'm a kid. Like, there's probably a bunch of pictures of my little brother characters, all the Winnie the Pooh characters, but probably no one else. Because it's fusion of Winnie the Pooh and it made him happy. I don't know if the only picture there might be of me is maybe a picture of me with Snoopy, maybe somewhere. Like, I really didn't. Because I didn't know what my obsessive compulsive disorder was when I was really young, being around like strangers, even strangers in costume, really freaked me the hell out. There's basically maybe one or two times my mom successfully got me to sit on Santa's lap long enough for a photo. That's the kind of kid I was. If you ever see the kid at the mall who's immediately crying upon being put on Santa's lap, that was me. It's because I have a disorder that I learned about when I got older, and I was like, oh, that explains my entire childhood. Thank you. So when I got older, I learned that there's ways I can pose with them where I don't feel uncomfortable. It still feels weird because like I can literally feel like someone's hand on my shoulder after 10 minutes later. It still feels like it's there because that's how my brain works. But I can work with that now. I'm fine with it now. And that was actually a fun one just because I think the first time we actually started doing this is when we saw Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. This was well before Incredibles 2. This was, oh my God, the Incredibles are randomly walking around in DCA. We need a photo. Because you never see the Incredibles. Shouldn't call her Mrs. Incredible. She's Elastigirl. She has a name. So we saw Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible in the red outfits. And we got the photo. And then that slowly trickled into like, if it's like a character I'm really into, let's go for it. I'm still not oh my gosh, it's Mickey or it's Donald or whatever, but I'm still down if it's, the Marvel characters are always fun. When they have certain Pixar characters, which we had a Woody experience, that'll be fun to talk. It's not at this event.
We'll go into later.
Look at that. When we talk about Pat's Day.
At the
fun
park.
So stupid. But if they had like Buzz Lightyear walking around, or they had, one of the little green men or something like that, I don't know. It's kind of fun to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not down if like, I don't really need to get a photo of the princesses. Pluto's always fun. But then like DCA, they would always have Nick and Nora from, just totally not the character names. Nick and Bunny Girl from Zootopia. I like how I just went immediately.
Judy Hopps.
Judy, thank you. Nick and Judy from Zootopia. And things like that, which are always kind of cool. And, oh, cool, they're here. So you get stuff like that I really liked, and it just built. But at Marvel Day, or at 90s night, you had, of course, those unique things. So what they have at Marvel Night, which I'm just going to call it Marvel Night. It's technically Heroes Assemble, but let's just call it Marvel Night. Let's call it what it is. You had Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Chip, Dale. I think that was all in like unique outfits for this night.
They were Disney bounding as Marvel characters. That was awesome.
So cool.
It's kind of surreal because Disney bounding was like a fandom built thing. It wasn't coined by Disney Imagineering or Disneyland Entertainment.
Some AP or Stephanie. Something?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. Oh yeah. Oh, Leslie K.
That's what I said.
Stephanie. Yeah, Leslie K. See, we're gonna start calling you Stephanie.
I thought her name was Stephanie, but I was like, no, maybe it was Nancy. It was, it was close. Both
Sorry, Leslie Case.
Both those have letters that are in Leslie. So, I was basically kind of,
Yeah, so basically she was doing all these, I forgot what the website was, but she was like taking all these images of different clothing and accessories and just kind of like, yeah, this is what so-and-so would wear if they were just on their day off, if they were going to the park. So it's like, so pretty much if you're listening to the stream, you know what Disney bounding is. And it's just so surreal seeing like the main Disney characters Disney bounding. There's some sort of funky meta to this. I love it. And we made it our goal to get photos with the main Disney characters. We actually literally stayed in the park until 1 a.m. to achieve that goal.
Which is like the closing time.
So there was a lot of people who were lined up for T'Challa. They were also lined up. There was like a huge line for Iron Man.
It was like 2 hours long.
And I'm like, I love you, Iron Man 3000, but I don't love you enough for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was nice just getting a picture of the giant helmet.
It was cool also just seeing that stage in Hollywoodland where he just comes out, and we actually got to see that a couple times. Like anytime we would walk by and you're like, hey, I'm Iron Man.
I liked his entries. Every entry he had like, Iron Man is back. Yes, I do refer to myself in the third person. Or I'm back. Lucky you.
And also some of the exclusive photo ops they had here that weren't character related. There was one of Guardians of the Galaxy where you can like pose as if you're trapped in the Tivin Vault. Here, let's talk about our cosplays for this event.
I rolled a 1 on that picture, so. But yes, we can get into our cosplays. So I don't have anything Marvel at all. I've always considered it, but never really found a character I really wanted to go as.
And the closest you've come up with was from the X-Men a couple times. Not even from the MCU.
What X-Men did I cosplay as?
No, we were discussing ideas of what X-Men to cosplay as. Yeah. You mentioned Multiply Man.
Multiple Man, who, I mean, just technically more of a X-Factor character. But, yeah, Multiple Man was on my list. Gambit has been on my list since I was 12, and he was like my favorite X-Man. Still kind of is, even though that weird pinkish
When's
shirt
that Gambit movie coming out? If ever.
We're not getting that.
We're getting Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
In theaters.
That trailer looks bad, by the way. Oof, that looks rough. They're following the beats, like the spaceship crashing and stuff like that, and she becomes Phoenix, but the Rise of Phoenix should be one movie, and then the Dark Phoenix should be another movie, not trying to force both parts of the story into one thing. We're sidetracking. The point is, yes, only Marvel stuff I've ever considered was X-Men related. I like bounding from Marvel. I've bounded as Groot, Yellow Jacket,
Loki.
God, who was my one for this year's Disney Bound Challenge? I thought I did someone new this time around.
Happy Hogan?
No.
Coulson?
No. I cannot remember who I did this time around.
Well, you were trying to remember that. I will look that up.
Yeah, you can look that up. But the thing is, I've always kind of wanted to, and I didn't. The only comic book hero I actually have, anti-hero is probably the better term for him, is John Constantine from Hellblazer. And yes, I'm Hellblazer.
Oh, Stan Lee.
I went as Stan Lee. That's right. The greatest Marvel character. I kind of want to get a gray wig and cosplay as Stan Lee, actually. Hello, true believers. Give me a fake mustache and a wig and some sunglasses and I'm here with my favorite character, Spiderman. How you doing? Or I'll go as Roger the Stanley Experience. Like, I have options here. Tell stories about Jack Kirby and John Romita Sr. It's an X-Play deep dive right there, people. But I didn't want to go as John Constantine because I'm wearing something DC. It's something where it's all going to be Marvel. And while John Constantine can potentially travel dimensions, let's not. So instead, I went with a different comic book hero who did have a movie that was kind of produced by Disney. His name is Dick Tracy. And I got a lot of positive response. Like, everyone remembers Dick Tracy. And the people who don't remember Dick Tracy is like, you look familiar. And I can't put my finger on like Dick Tracy. Like, oh my God, from that movie. And I'm like, yes, from that movie.
And I think I overheard someone like, is that the man in the yellow hat? Like,
I always get one of those.
Like, oh, you Gen Z kids don't know.
But usually it's from like a 4-year-old man in yellow hat. And then one of the parents is like, no, I think that's Dick Tracy. And then the kid has no idea who Dick Tracy is because it's 4, you know? It annoys me more when adults do that. Just because I'm like, come on, guys. I know this movie came out in like 1990, I want to say.
Sounds about right. 90
or 91. It was one of the two. I think 90. So I get that it's been
like a prayer.
I get that we haven't really had there's no sequel, there's no reboot yet. I will totally write the hell out of that reboot. Someone let me do that. I am the writer you want for this. I love this character in this series. We'll keep it in like the 1920s. We'll be taking down bootleggers. We'll get like someone a little bit younger than Warren Beatty to play him this time around. No offense, Warren Beatty. You're a great actor and you were wonderful in that movie. But if I want to make a Dick Tracy franchise, I want Dick Tracy to be in his like mid-20s or early 30s. Let's get Chris Pine. He's not doing anything anymore. And everyone's like, Chris Pine doesn't have black hair. I'm like, oh my God, because hair dye doesn't exist. Jesus. Come on, people. I don't know. I feel like Chris Pine deserves his own like action movie franchise. I like Chris Pine. I just didn't like this new Star Trek movies, and I feel like Chris Pine deserves an action movie franchise. And I would love to write it because he seems like a cool dude.
He has his own farm.
Yeah.
Wait, Pine or
Chris Pine?
Okay, my bad.
Yes,
I'm thinking
Captain
Chris
Kirk.
Pratt. My bad.
No. Chris Pratt is also awesome, and I'd just like to hang out and have a beer with him. I assume he's a beer drinker. I don't think he's like a whiskey drinker. He feels like a beer drinker to me. And you know who else I like to hang out with in the Chris catalog? Chris Hemsworth. I think it'd be pretty fun to hang out with. He probably gets high, though. He probably doesn't drink beer. Although he's Australian, so he has to. Dude, he totally has Foster's in his fridge. And try to have a Foster's of Chris. Oh, it'd be so awesome.
Okay, complete the Chris trifecta.
Yep.
Complete the Chris trifecta.
Oh, I need to do one more. Then I would love to go to a Sox game with Chris Evans. Could sit there and go like, hey, go Sox. Win us another World Series, yeah? It'd be great. I'm like, I didn't know you were from Boston. I'm like, I didn't know you were there either. It'd be great. He'd be like, so where do you live? Like, I'm in Brookline. He's like, oh, that's so great. I have friends in Brookline. Really? Where are you? Roslindale. Oh, no, got Australian for some reason. Fudge. He's not from Roslindale. Why the hell would Chris Evans ever be from Roslindale? Geez, God.
People call it Rozzy, Jared.
Rozzy, sorry.
Not Roslindale. Locals call it Rozzy.
Yeah, whatever. You know that he's probably from Revere. Something like that. Like, he's not actually from Rozzy. He probably lives in Somerville. All the people with money live in Somerville.
That would actually be that would be Newton.
Newton, whatever. It's right next to Somerville.
No, Newton was like a city over from Brookline.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Chestnut Hill also has like old money,
yeah.
and then
Hill, yeah.
Newton also has some old money.
This conversation goes on for 40 minutes. Sorry, that's a Boston accent joke. The point being, yeah, I would love to have it'd be wicked awesome to hang out with Chris Evans. Maybe we could hang out with Chris Evans. He could introduce me to some of the Sox, or maybe we could go see a Pats game. He could introduce me to Tom Brady. Be cool. I'm like, oh my God, you touchdown Tom Brady, and he's like, yes, I am. This is my wife, the Giselle Bundchen. Oh, I loved your role in Zootopia as Giselle. That was great. That was Shakira. Oh, I love your Project
you could have met
Runway.
The Pats at Anime Boston because their defensive line decided to visit for a day.
Yep. And there wasn't a loudspeaker announcement of that, which is a disappointment. And I don't know if I'd recognize them not in their uniforms, but if they're wearing their uniforms, I'm like, oh man, it's the best Pats cosplayers ever. Like, I wouldn't have believed it's the actual guys, but they were just wearing regular clothes. And no offense, defensive line of the Pats, but I probably wouldn't recognize you. Look, in defense, if your name isn't Gronkowski or Tom Brady, I'm probably not going to recognize you. I feel really bad about that, but I'm really terrible at recognizing athletes unless like I've met them previously in person, or boxers. I got very good at recognizing boxers. Like if Manny Pacquiao showed up to like an anime con, I'd be like, oh, you're Manny Pacquiao. And he's like, I am. I didn't know you like the Japanimes. He's like, yeah, my favorite is the Mazinker, and I like the Voltes 5. Voltes 5? I love Voltes 5. And then we can have a whole conversation about Voltes 5. It's a Filipino joke.
We were talking
I'm
about
making fun of the accent because I'm a racist.
Yeah, your Filipino accent is better than my Tagalog. I'll just leave it right there.
I don't even attempt to speak the language. The only things I can say is like mabuhay, and that's about it. So it's my limit of Filipino language. Other than food names. Food names don't count because they're
what food names do you know?
Lumpia, pancit, chicken adobo, spam, and more spam.
Good enough. Anywho, we're talking about Disneyland After Dark, right? And what we're cosplaying as?
I was cosplaying as Dick Tracy. Well, you actually went from the Marvel either.
I didn't go for the Marvel. I actually do have one Marvel costume, but she's a mutant. That's Dazzler.
Disco Dazzler, too, because you're wearing the white outfit.
Indeed, I was.
I love Disco Dazzler.
But that costume's back up in storage. I need to wear it again, but I want to wear roller skates when I wear it, because that'd be fun.
But yeah, I don't know if they'd allow you to do that at the park. They were being very rulesy.
Very rulesy.
Yeah.
Technically, I do have like 2 Marvel MCU outfits. I do have the Captain American,
the
American USO, the USO dancing girl, chorus girl outfit.
I saw
like,
a couple people wearing those.
It will.
Maybe it was the same girl twice.
It's gonna be too cold to wear. It's like I decided to just pass on that. It would have been a cool outfit to wear, like just get a few photos with Cap. But I'm like, it's all right. And then the other one I wanted to wear is technically if I just get a button-up blouse, brown wig, I could be Peggy Carter in her military uniform.
Yeah, you do have everything to do other than the British insignias on anything. But
technically I could like cost bound as Peggy Carter to this in her military uniform. And I like her. And
well, I wanted to like see if I had what was required to do last minute Tommy Lee Jones from First Avenger. And did not. He is proper green military coloring or army coloring, and I only have
Navy Admiral outfits. And also,
I wouldn't mind to have a Tommy Lee Jones cosplay. I don't know if anyone would get it though.
And I was joking around that you should have gone as Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black, which is not his name in the movie.
It is not. His name is Agent K. It's very easy to remember, and I have worn that for Halloween before, so I have everything required except for I no longer have the Ray-Bans. I have generic sunglasses, but I don't have Ray-Ban sunglasses. Although, ironically, my reading glasses are Ray-Bans. And my regular glasses are Dolce & Gabbana, because apparently I'm just posh like that. Should probably get some prescription Ray-Ban sunglasses. It'd be pretty sweet. But I also used to have the Neuralizer toy, and I do not. And then when Men in Black 3 came out, I was super hyped. And the Neuralizer toy looks freaking terrible and unusable. And then I looked online to see what the replica costs are, and it was like $50. I'm like, I'm not buying $50 for a cosplay prop that's smaller than a remote control. That being said, Agent K would have been fun if I had the Neuralizer. I totally would have done that. Because
considering Thor and Valkyrie are going to be an MIB International.
Also, Men in Black is owned by Marvel Comics. They own the franchise through a long series of a company that bought a company that bought a company. And I would not do a Men in Black read, but I'd only leave it for the original guy. Not a chance. There's certain series I'd love to do a run on. If Men in Black had become like franchised out, like they had the main Men in Black series was still going, and then maybe they started doing the international to tie into the movie, and then they want to do like an MIB West, where it was just like crazy like LA adventures with a new cast, then I would. But as far as I know, the only person who's ever written on MIB is the original creator, and therefore I would not want to touch his thing without his express permission and approval, because I'm cool like that. I wouldn't want to do anything in those things without the expressed approval of the original creator. But alas, I do not have the Neuralizer toy. I hope MIB International releases a decent version that I could just buy for $10 at Target rather than $50 online. That would be my thing. I could potentially make one out of like PVC and stuff like that, but I ideally want a toy where I can press the little button and it pops open. I could make one that's just holding there, or better yet, one that does that and can actually do like a flash effect. That'd be even better, but I will settle for one that just pops open.
Okay, so let's talk about what I cosplayed as. So I ended up cosplaying as Saber from the Fate series. So I decided to just like, you know what, it's Heroes Night. Let me just go as just like my favorite current main protagonist that saves people and does stuff and kicks ass, takes names.
Eats food.
Lots of food. Even though I'm not kidding about this. She actually has her own series where she just eats food. It's served by like a kind of I don't like the guy they usually pair her with, but that's just me.
She only has two options for people who feed her, and that's going to be Enmia or Nameless. So you got to choose your poison on that one.
This is true. Better Enmia than like Nameless.
Who was technically the same person, but whatever.
Yeah.
Time travel's a bitch.
Speaking of time travel.
But yeah, I thought it was good. Not a lot of people recognized you, but a lot of people were asked. I can't talk. Not a lot of people recognized you off the bat, but a lot of people asked what you were because they thought your outfit was awesome.
And also, I had two cast members who got super excited, like, "Oh my god, it's Saber!" And then there's some random otaku that also walked by, like, "Oh my god, it's Saber!" Like, yay! And then like you and I were just kind of like this talking and passing. Like, it'd be awesome if we did like Boku no Hero Academia to this, but we don't have our costumes quite ready. And he also overheard us to like, "Yeah, I see people wear those shirts here all the time." Like, yeah, like okay, if they do this again, I'll totally rock Boku no Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go as a teacher who wants to take a nap.
Five Wits sells his wig.
I know. I saw it online when I was trying to find a picture for my bound. Oh, by the way, if you guys check out my Instagram, you can see me bounding as him, and it's like, yeah, that's a perfect match. So.
And I like the nickname they gave the Aizawa wig on the Five Wits. It's like nap time teacher.
Oh, is it really called that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't see that.
And I'm right now in between going as Jiro, Momo, or Froppy.
Which one's Froppy?
Call me Sue.
Oh, I hate that character.
I like her. I like my awkward female characters.
Highly annoying. But
she's not as annoying as Mineta.
Well, Mineta's not a female, I think. I'm not sure what Mineta's gender is, honestly. I think your mom would call it a shishi.
Sha.
Yeah.
Because there's no pronouns in gendered pronouns.
Because I thought that was a female at first. Until you told me, like, no, it's a dude. I'm like, that's a dude? Just a weird, short, gross thing that I understand is a comedy relief character that does not comedy or relieve me. Momo is hotness for sure.
Momo's best girl.
I would definitely recommend one of two characters. Toru, of course, because that's best cosplay. And Midnight.
I am not going to the con dressed as Midnight.
Every girl who asks me about the series now, I'm going to immediately recommend Midnight to them. I probably know some girls who probably would probably not cosplay to a con as Midnight, but would definitely do photo shoots as Midnight. I can think of one for sure who definitely would. And I know one who might.
Anyway.
I know some weird chicks. But yes, that would have been fun to do Boku no Hero. Hell, I may have even walked in the little Heroes Parade thing they did if I was going from that. I was not going to do that as Dick Tracy, but that.
Yeah. So let's
God,
get
just
into
doing that
the
as
Hero
would be
Parade.
Hilarious. It'd just be walking like, why am I even here? I hate everyone. God, so lame.
Tell us more about your dad.
Shut up. Stop asking me questions. I'll freeze you to death with my freeze powers. God. Where's like Iceman so I have someone I can relate to? Because you're gay? No, because I have ice powers. What's wrong with you? Talk about using ice abilities and ice sliding and stuff. Cool. Also, I can't think of another Marvel character with ice powers other than Iceman. I'm sure there is one.
So yeah, it's also part of the event. There was like a heroes like cavalcade. It was like everyone who's in costume just kind of like followed Ashley Eccleston. You
would know her from her universe clothing and nothing else. I'm kidding. She's also a really, really awesome character on a Disney show.
Yeah, she's the voice actress for Ahsoka. And when she did her announcement, she did like younger Ahsoka voice.
I loved that. She's doing like the 14-year-old or 13-year-old, whatever she's supposed to be in like season 1.
Yeah, my apologies. It's Ashley Eckstein. I'm thinking about the author of the Ahsoka book, which is also an awesome book too. Yeah. So Ashley Eckstein, she is the CEO and founder of Her Universe, and I do like her voice as Ahsoka. And when she passed by in the parade, I was like, Ahsoka's the best girl. If I had to choose a favorite character in the current Star Wars universe, we were looking at Disney as a whole with the OG. I'm like, okay, definitely Ahsoka.
She was one of those characters who I did not like in season 1, and she really grew on me. I think the first episode that really helped was season 2, which I think has that zombie arc, and it's her with that other Padawan like desperately holding their own against a bunch of zombies. Well, they're not technically zombies; they're controlled by little parasites, but they're basically zombies.
My introduction to Ahsoka was we ended up watching the Clone Wars,
which does her no good service.
The Clone Wars
She's
movie.
a brat in that movie.
Yeah, we saw that movie in theaters for some reason. And I kind of liked her because she was kind of like playing off a little sister to Anakin. I was just thinking myself in the theater, like, oh my God, she and Anakin have more chemistry and more personality towards one another than him and Padme ever had.
I think they get that way more in like later seasons. I think in season 1, she is just a brat. Where I'm like, I totally get why Anakin doesn't want to deal with her and just keeps pawning her off to people because I would too. I'm like, brat, here. Hey, there's an Obi-Wan. You go talk to him. I got stuff
like
to
her
do.
because I kind of like the little sister archetype. And then like you just kind of grow with Ahsoka throughout the series.
I like her in the later seasons where she's more of like, I can't say an equal per se because Anakin is just absurdly powerful, but she is a student who is now like matured to that point of personal growth. Where initially in season 1 and even to season 2, to some extent, she's very much a student who is just going to run off and do her own thing and not really listening. And then when you get to like season 3, 4, 5, she's definitely listening and growing and actually acting a lot like Anakin in those seasons. because it's kind of like, hey, this works for my master, it'll work for me, which she gets scolded for by Tarkin during that episode, which is great, where Tarkin's like, could you not act like an idiot, please? Like, oh, Tarkin, you're wonderful regardless of whichever actor is playing you.
Yeah, so she was hosting the cosplay parade type thing. It wasn't a contest. Like, yeah, just walk around the Pixar Pier in costume, and she was like just pointing like, "Oh yeah, check out this costume! Check out this costume!"
It was so cool.
And she was riding the Agents of Shield Humvee.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was in the Humvee, and I liked her announcing different characters, and that would have been fun if I was going as like more of a real superhero. Being like a pulp hero doesn't quite feel right to me, unless there was like another pulp hero type there. If like Conan was showing up, then maybe we could hang out together.
Well, maybe if you went as Spider-Man Noir.
Or Spider-Man Noir, which, I mean, he got chilly enough. The trench coat would have been nice.
Like, even I admit I was getting chilly in Saber, and that costume's layered, because that was one of my deciding factors. What to wear here is like, okay, it's going to be chilly in the evening. I'm going to need something with layers. Because I was thinking Sailor Moon in her school uniform, because that's what I have here currently. I'm like, dang, I have the summer uniform. It's not going to fly well.
No sleeves, yeah. Or, well, the short sleeves. Not no sleeves. But, yeah, it was one as I looked at the temperature when I was trying to select my character, going like, okay, is it going to be it's going to be like the last time I wore Dick Tracy for a Halloween treat, where it was still like 85 degrees at night, and I was just dying. And I looked at him like, oh, it's going to be like low 60s at night. Whew. Okay. I mean, like, granted, comparatively to being in Boston a couple of weeks ago, that's not that big a deal, but the wind. It's the wind that gets you. It's not the coldness. 61 degrees is not that bad. 61 degrees plus wind feels like you're in the Arctic. The wind's a jerk. But yeah, I can't say that I regret not being in the thing, because obviously I didn't want to do it, but it would have been fun to do that from being Boku no Hero, or even if we had done something Marvel-ish.
Yeah, next time they do, let's do Boku no Hero.
Because that could be a lot of fun. So photo ops going into hero poses. And also, the other thing I think when we were making our choices as to what to do, I consciously chose not to pose with any of the heroes, mainly because they tend to show up at the park anyways. Spider-Man has a dedicated zone. Black Panther's almost always around.
Not really. He
was for a while.
He was for a while, but now it's mainly Cap, Spider-Man,
and Captain Marvel.
Temporarily.
Well, as long as they have her zone there, they're going to keep her coming out. Like, they're not just going to toss that airplane away right now. They're going to keep that there for a while. And I don't know how many other characters can really pose next to an F-15 and the shield truck.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they did like a Disney Afternoon overlay that area and just changed that F-15 to the Sea Duck.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
Though I would question, like, why is like a seaplane like in a hangar type thing?
Yeah, I know. It's the only thing that doesn't make any sense about that. But
Launchpad would quack.
Yeah, I was thinking like Launchpad could still go there anyways. Hey, I can pilot this. I can pilot basically anything. I'm a good pilot. I see something more like Bodhi. I'm a pilot. I'm the pilot. I'm the pilot. I'm the pilot.
Because I also do see Star-Lord there, but Star-Lord's usually there just to like do a dance. Groot's always there because he's always posing in front of the Guardians of the Galaxy dealie.
Yeah, you can find Groot relatively easily. Star-Lord, usually with a Gamora or someone else, will do the dance thingy. I don't know if they stop for photo ops. I would assume they would, but I don't know if they do.
I could always check. Also, they have Black Widow and Hawkeye,
which are rarely at the park.
And they also had Doctor Strange, who was there temporarily.
Summer of Heroes, they were around, because weren't they there for Hero Training Camp or whatever the heck it was called?
Yes, they had like the Avengers Sun Show type thing.
So they were there for that. So they probably, if we do Summer of Heroes again, they might bring that back, in which case...
Oh, they're not going to do Summer of Heroes. They're going to do Summer of the Lion King at DCA. You right, Jared?
No, that'll be fun too. I can't wait to hear Circle of Life for the 8 trillionth time. Yay!
It's a Lion King.
I also can't wait to be king. And other songs from that movie. I'll be prepared. And I can feel the love tonight. My love for the Lion King. Actually, the live action looks pretty good. I'm going to admit that one right there. That does look pretty good. But I can't get hyper excited about having Lion King stuff shoved up my butt for like 3 months when I'm trying to escape the Star Wars and I just want to escape into like Marvel and be like, man, Iron Man, take me away from Star Wars, please. Rescue me, Captain America. I'll settle for Ant-Man. Ant-Man, are you here? I'll settle for you. Oh, thanks, man. It's so cool you'd settle for me, the Ant-Man. Let's have an adventure where we shrink really small and I don't know, like talk to bugs, stuff. My comics usually aren't that good. Like, well, at least they chose Scott Lang over Hank Pym. Hank Pym was massively verbally abusive to his wife for all those years. Oh, Pym's the worst. Yeah, the absolute worst. Getting sidetracked. So the point was, I didn't want to go for the superheroes. We went for the main Disney plush people and their hero stuff. We didn't do the parade, though we did watch it. Or I guess you can't. I don't know if you called it parade or not, but it was kind of a parade. It followed parade rules. There were people walking in line, and there was a truck and music.
Let's talk about some of the other photo op zones. Like
Yeah,
there's the Sultar, I think. I don't know how.
Surtur.
Sir.
There was the Surtur one where it looks like it's his hand. You can stand there. I like my pose. My pose was like, what? It's like, what am I doing? Because I was Dick Tracy, so it's like, what am I doing here if a cosmic god monster? And that was kind of fun.
And I was like just thinking, like, are you a berserker?
He kind of would be.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I guess if you're going with Go rules, then he would probably just be one of the giant monsters, just a flame element one.
There was also like a Hulk card that you can like smash with like these Hulk cans that they would give you.
I did not see that.
I saw that, but there was a bit of a line
I'm
for
sure.
it because it was an interactive photo op zone. It looked cool though, and there was like also another one. I want to say it was like a something or other Metal Age comic variant of the Avengers, and you can pose in front of it.
Silver Age. It was a Silver Age. Yeah, the Silver Age Avengers comic was kind of cool. The line for that was also pretty long. We had to sacrifice that to see Minnie, Mickey, Donald, and Daisy. Totally worth it. That photo was fine. I got to be with Donald and Daisy, which is rare to just find the two of them together.
And Donald was wearing a Hulk Disney band, and Daisy was wearing a Black Widow Disney band. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's very cute. And then
they can share ice cream together. SNL joke.
Daisy Duck, Age of Me.
I would watch that.
I would totally watch that too.
Daisy seriously needs more love.
I'm kind of annoyed she's not in the new DuckTales. Because they could either A, introduce her as a brand new love interest for Donald, or have it that like they broke up, but Donald still wants to get back together. I don't know. Look, if you have Storkules showing up, you can bring Daisy Duck in. I would actually like her as a brand new love interest for Donald, just kind of reboot Daisy as well. It's the same voice, same like general look, but I don't know. But then it also is one of those where they do the double ones, where you go to the one group and then they take you to the second group. The second group is Minnie and Mickey, which is always cool. Kind of wish they were dressed in their king and queen forms, but you know, I'll take their hero-ish forms. That was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom Hearts night, please.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I thought Mickey and Minnie's Bounce were cute because Minnie was Spider-Gwen and Mickey was Captain America. Like, oh my god, you guys are adorable.
And I think Chip and Dale were Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
That was great.
And they also have the regular Thor and Loki photo zone, but they show up on the parks occasionally.
They do. I've seen Loki quite a few times. Thor, I don't. Probably have seen him once. Pluto was there just being Pluto, and then I can't remember what Goofy's was.
Iron Goof.
Iron Goof.
He's the Iron Goof.
Iron Goof.
Yuck.
Kind of hope that's a DLC costume for Kingdom Hearts 3. I'll drop $1 on Iron Goof. Heck, if they did a Marvel pack for that, I'd drop like $5 on like getting all the characters in their Marvel versions, assuming it also gives me like, I don't know, Ant-Man Sora or something. Loki, Riku. Loki
I
Riku
can see that.
I love Loki Riku. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of down with that. But, oh, yeah. Thor, Sora, and Loki Riku. I want those alt costumes. But, I did like the characters. See whether they did we brought up the Taban collection thing where I screwed up because I didn't realize where I was supposed to be looking, so that failed, and that picture will never be seen by anyone. So
I reposted on my Instagram.
God dang it! Don't post the pictures of me looking like an idiot, please.
But you just kind of looking off off your shoulder, kind of like the logo.
That one's good. The official one is not that. So the one, when I'm looking out to the side, like, yeah, I'm planning my escape or whatever, like, was fine.
Because I'm like, Saber just there, just looking confused, like, oh crap. Looks like Tavon found his waifu, a 5-star Saber.
Yeah. Don't touch the glass. And especially because you have your sword, so that really limits her abilities.
Yeah, because I actually did bring the sword because I actually did see people bring like wood props to Mickey's Halloween party, and I thought my sword would be permissible because I got stopped 3 times by security in the security checkpoint. Even though like 2 out of 3 times they said it was okay. Like, okay, if I'm being stopped 3 times, I'm probably better off just putting it back in the car.
Yeah.
And they also pegged you for your money clip.
Yeah, because my money clip has a small little like fingernail-sized blade thing that can come out of it, and the guy, like, the security guy was going to have none of that, and I'm like, I could stab myself with this 20 times and not break the skin. I do not know why this is a deal, but
so we just ended up. Luckily, we this time around we took the car to Disney, because normally we take Lyft because it's much more convenient. Getting into the structure wasn't a big deal, but getting out was like all these left turn merging lanes that I forgot about. And
then trying to veer onto the freeway.
Onto the 5 freeway, because I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder why people hate getting out of the parking structure.
Yeah.
And also getting through security. Well, it was fine on a weekday during the time we went 3:00 on a weekday. When we went back again on the weekend, we saw the line for security. We were just kind of like just peering outside the window for a Lyft ride. It's like, yeah, I'd rather spend the extra $5-7 on a Lyft than for parking.
That's round trip total.
Yes.
Yeah, not per way. That would be $5 per way would be absurd. I'm like, I don't live that close to Disneyland.
Yeah, a round trip to Disney is like $30, but when you consider that parking is $25, and plus this saves you time getting through security. You don't have to do the tram ride because we usually get either dropped off at the Disneyland Hotel or at downtown Disney. We have a better time of just taking our time. We can go to a cleaner bathroom in the Disneyland Hotel than the parking structure bathroom.
Oh, I didn't know there was a parking. Oh, no.
So remember when you mentioned that when Jared mentioned he was OCD? Yeah.
Yeah, my reaction last time we went to Knott's, me going to the bathroom, like, I will not touch anything. I just need to do this real quick. And like, I think people in the bathroom were like, what's wrong with that guy? And I literally was like, nope, as I was like leaving. And the person's coming in, or like, what's up with that guy? And I'm like, yeah, OCD guy in a gross public bathroom, like, is not fun for me. That's what we call an episode. Because that is my disorder triggering at high levels and me wanting to possibly hyperventilate. But the Disneyland Hotel has clean bathrooms because it's a hotel and they have to clean those things. So they do. Yay. And Disneyland, the park, is mixed bag depending which one you go into and what time you go into it.
Agreed. I don't even have a preferred bathroom at the Disneyland park. I just like I'll just go at the hotel before we leave.
Yeah.
Or as soon as we get there. But I usually make it a point to use the bathroom before going to the park. But yeah, I just forgot like just exiting. Even if when it was like after 1 a.m. Like,
yeah, we thought that was gonna be easy.
Yeah. It's just getting to the left side. Like, I'm sure if you've done it multiple times, it's like easy peasy. It's all Mickey Mouse. But even then, it's like it's just so annoying. You have to move from one left lane to the next left lane until you get on 5 South.
Mm-hmm. But the event itself was a lot of fun.
We did scavenger hunt. We haven't talked about that.
Yes, scavenger hunt. So when you entered in, they give you a little lanyard. They gave you a pack of cards, and they gave you I can't call it a map, but like a guide to what's going on that night.
It's kind of like a little event pamphlet. It does have like a map of like where to find all the characters, where to find all the food, but they also gave you like a little flyer in there that just gave you hints on where to find like certain things in the park. So the idea was, the story behind it is that Shield has assigned you, the park guest, to look up a code word, and if you find this code word, it's part of your initiation rite to be an agent of Shield. So Jared and I decided, like, okay, let's be agents of Shield. You're a sleuther, and I got Saber.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so basically they had like a very like zoomed in image of something in the park, and they gave a clue on where to find it. Some are much more obvious than others, and some of them you kind of had to like think a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Example, like you had to think about word plays. You got to think about like double entendres. Like there was a clue that led you to the Spiderman photo zone, his regular photo zone, where it's like, yeah, this friendly neighborhood hero. Like, oh, Spiderman. It took me a while to get that one because I use the phrase friendly neighborhood XYZ so many times. I forget that it's usually associated with Spider-Man.
Origins from the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man says, hey, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Whip.
And then there was
my Spider-Man voice.
Some were more obvious than others, like the mayor, the founder of Cars Radiator Springs. Like we found the letter right there.
Yeah.
And then when we went to the Bing Bong candy store, they had like the photo lollipop. Like, okay, look for the lollipop.
There's a lot of lollipops. We were there with other people going like, which lollipop is it?
And then I eventually found it, and then like, oh hey, I found it. And it was like this kiosk that was outside that had the lollipop.
Yeah, and I think there was another shop that was, people were going inside, but it was actually right outside the shop.
Yeah, I forgot what that was. And I thought that there was one map we had to look at that was inside the Grizzly Peak trail walk area
But
camp thing. But you pointed out like, oh, there's a map right by the refreshment center thing with the Coca-Colas with the station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And the letter was in the station wagon. I think our favorite one was the punctuation one.
Which is kind of cool because someone else told us that there's a Dick Tracy reference at the car and at the Oswald's gas station. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then we were following the clues, which led us to that car, and the answer is on the newspaper thing where it says extra Tracy, was it Nabs?
Tracy triumphs.
Tracy triumphs, that's right.
And then when I was just peering into the car, because you're costuming as Dick Tracy, and I didn't read the article, the headline out loud, I was like, hey, Jared, this involves you.
And like, yeah, the guy said there's supposed to be some reference in the car.
And then I'm like, Tracy triumphs. And then, okay, what's the punctuation here? Exclamation point. And it was sad because there was people who were like looking at the newspaper like, wait, is it the letter B? Which letter is it? Like, it's a punctuation.
Because it says it's like twice or something like that. So they're trying to find letters that were used twice but the whole word extra is used twice. It's like, yes, but they said punctuation. You got to read the clue properly.
Read a clue very carefully and thoroughly. Look for the double entendres, and some things might be a little bit more on the nose than others. And lo and behold, the password for the scavenger hunt was
Tesseract! Exclamation point.
And how did we reveal that to the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we had to rendezvous with in Hollywoodland?
You said the first part, and then I added the exclamation point. It made her so happy that someone actually made the exclamation point joke. I'm so glad. Look, my whole goal in life is just make people laugh and eat food. Lots of food. Delicious food. Wonderful food.
What this led you to is you got another trading card, which was of Iron Man.
Which is the last card that was required for the set, because all the others are the other original 6. Well, the original 5, and then Iron Man.
And then this also led you to a photo op zone where it's like it had an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. background. It's like now Dick Tracy is an official Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and so is Saber.
Yeah.
And it looks like Saber is probably going to be transferred to Excalibur at this point.
Yeah, probably. Even though S.H.I.E.L.D. has no jurisdiction over Excalibur. I don't know. I would love to do a parody skit of like the Fate characters and Nick Fury like recruiting them. Saber, or would you prefer to be called Arturia Pendragon? Either way, do you want to join the Avengers? Because we need you.
Drop some Samuel L. Jackson references in there.
Yeah, I don't do a good Sam Jackson impression. It's the problem. So I just sound like a guy who's trying to sound like Samuel Jackson. I don't like it. But we don't have any Nick Fury cosplayer friends that I know of, unless we do. And it's like, oh, I didn't know Sam cosplays as. Like, I don't think we know anyone who cosplays as Nick Fury. I feel it's a letdown. People, cosplays Nick Fury. It's pretty cool. Get an eye patch.
I have an eye patch.
And if you're already bald, you've already saved a step. See? So, just saying.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the scavenger hunt because I had a lot of fun doing that. It was my favorite part of the night because it actually, for someone like me who watches like every single YouTube analyses on the Disneyland parks around the world and likes to know all the details, there was stuff that I knew about that were more obvious than others, and there's stuff like, oh hey, I didn't know about this. This is kind of cool. And I think we did a couple of attractions during the night. We went on the Jesse's Critter Carousel. I love that ride.
Because we had to go there for one of the clues anyways.
And there's like no line. We just like walked right in. And then I got to ride the big bunny. And you got to ride
the turtle. We tortoise inherited, baby.
Yay.
Woo!
And then we got to go on Midway Mania. I just was able to just walk on.
I got one of the higher scores I've ever gotten because I followed your advice of aiming for the higher value stuff and don't waste your time with the low priorities.
Yeah, just spray and pray for the last one because that's something you're gonna use your male powers.
Oh, I'm a guy with upper body strength, meow meow meow. But that was fun to do, and the line for that was like non-existent as well. And that one usually gets like one of the crazier lines. We also did, as I said earlier, Incredicoaster, and I thought we had one more on there.
I did that wearing my Artorial wig, mind you.
Yeah, you kept it on.
And it was a cheap Uo wig, which was like $15 online. It's like, yeah, if I lose this, like, no big deal. I could always get another one.
If you lose it, it's going to disrupt the ride and piss a lot of people off.
This is true. I made sure to safety pin the hat wig.
This isn't your hat blew off into the river during a Jungle Cruise.
True story.
Still Jungle Cruise. This is your wig would like land on the tracks and be a danger to the next car going on. Because it could get caught up in the wheels and that could cause problems.
Yeah, that would suck.
So you have to shut down everything and get the wig. It would have been bad. Thought there was one other thing we did, but I guess not.
Couldn't go on Little Mermaid because we still had drinks in our hands.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a rule.
Oh, we did Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you. That's just started new, and that was a thing we did.
It was an import from the Florida park, and it just recently opened. It's its debut in Southern California, and like it's fun. It's a good time killer. Air conditioning, I can't complain.
It replaced Muppet Vision 3D.
That's a hard act to follow. I'm not gonna lie.
It's fine. It's just Donald dicking around, it's like going through different famous musical sequences from various Disney movies while chasing a hat. Has a few funny moments because of Donald like reactions and stuff like that. It's fine, but that's kind of my review for it. It's fine. You're right. It would kill some time. It'd be a way to cool off, but it won't be. It's not that much dialogue, so it can't be quotable like, "Bear, you're not even funny in 3D." Or did someone say pointless 3D tricks? Or it's a tribute to all countries, but mostly America. What beautiful scenery! Yeah, too bad they're going to ruin it with a pig. I'm sure there's others I could do. God, I love the Muppets. Kind of lament, like, not becoming a Muppet person. Not, a puppeteer. I mean, just metamorphosing into an actual Muppet. Or moving to Sesame Street. I probably could have done well there. What's up, Oscar? Making the tricks, getting the ladies. Like, hell yeah. High five, Oscar.
I learned from you about the Snuffleupagus.
Yeah. What's up, Big Bird? Hey, man, I'm just,
I never knew he had like a name, or maybe I forgot he had a name. I thought like, oh yeah, it says Big Bird's big elephant.
Yeah, it's his imaginary friend.
Isn't it confirm it's an elephant?
Yes, it's an elephant.
Okay.
He is an elephant. He remains an elephant. He has not changed anything else.
Remember when you saw an elephant in Mr. Lincoln's Opera House?
God, probably a Bert and Ernie being like, up all night, like making noise. I'm like, will you guys keep it down? Some of us have to get to work in the morning.
Well, I know of a grouch who lives on Sesame Street. His name is Stan.
Yeah.
You can follow their Twitch stream at Plastic Rodents. Shameless plug.
Don't do that. And then we'd feel like Cookie Monster like strung out in the hall of my apartment building. I'm like, dude, what's up? He's like, dude, man, it's Cookie, man. It's Oreo. Chips Oreo. I don't care. Just something.
Is this Sesame Street or the Projects?
It could be both. Someone do some fan art of strung out Cookie Monster. You see him like laying against a wall, looking completely messed up.
Overall, Heroes Assemble was a lot of fun.
I hope they bring it back. I would recommend it. And like you said, if you're someone who doesn't have an annual pass, doesn't get to go on the rides too often, and all you want to do is hit rides,
this is a good event for it.
A great alternative for that. And any of these would probably work in that regard. But this one especially, because the photo ops will draw a lot of people, did draw a lot of people away from stuff. And the only one I bet had a line was Guardians, because it's Hero Night and theming. So, but I also thought Incredicoaster was still going to have a lot of people, and nope.
And Marvel Land is supposedly going to open next year, 2020. They have not released a month, but they are hoping for a 2020 opening. The plans for the Spider-Man ride have been allegedly leaked online, and it looks like it's going to kind of be somewhere in the same vein as Astro Blasters / Midway Mania.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of Astro Orbiter. I'm sorry. That's Sios for Astro Orbiter, not for Astro Blasters.
So the space that took up the original Bugs Land Theater, that's probably where the
new Spider-Man we'll be moved around, and we'll shoot web thingies at bad guys.
Something like that.
I'm Dr. Octopus. You can't defeat my Octobots. And then we'll just have to fight the Octobots. It'd be cool. I'm down.
All right, let's talk about Spider-Man.
So it's basically just going to be a knockoff of the Ant-Man ride.
Probably.
Because that's what the Ant-Man ride is. It's just like, I am Scientist Man. You will never defeat me, Ant-Man, and my robots. And then you just zap the robots. And then Ant-Man's like, thanks, team. We beat the bad guy bots.
And from my understanding...
that ride looks like a lot of fun.
The Hong Kong Disneyland's Marvel Zone, our Marvel Zone, and Paris's Marvel Zone. Florida doesn't get one. They're supposed to kind of sort of interact with each other. Well, because of legalities with Universal,
it's at,
blah, 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 blah.
It's Islands of Adventure, and it's owned by a different company. But yeah, they're also to have a concurrent storyline. So Iron Man is in China, period. If he has a video thing, it's like, hey guys, I'm in China, but coolsies on you guys being here at the War Machine ride. Woo, War Machine! Everyone loves War Machine. No one cares, do they? Okay, well, anyhow. Have fun. It'd be great. Rhodey's like, thanks, Tony, for that video. Anyhow, welcome to my ride. There's not going to be a War Machine ride. But I'm still hoping for like an Ant-Man ride where it's just the Hungry Caterpillar ride, but it's just an ant now. And it's the exact same ride. They just changed what the car looks like. And you're just riding on an ant, and you just go through this stuff. And that would amuse me to no end, but that's probably not what's going to happen. But it would still amuse me to no end. We are going to get that Spider-Man web shooter ride. That should be fun. I wouldn't mind a Hulk coaster, but we already have a Hulk coaster. Oh, no, wait. That's Islands of Adventure has the Hulk coaster, right?
Yes, they do.
So we could technically have our own version of the Hulk coaster that would be different legally.
Yeah, let's kind of see what's different, what attractions are going to announce. I predict they're going to announce a couple of things at D23 this year. And we already got our tickets ready and set for D23 Saturday and Sunday, because all 3 days are sold out, and I really didn't want to upgrade our my D23 membership to the gold membership, which got you to discount. I'm like, do I really want to spend the extra $100 to save less than $50 for our tickets? Nah. But
Plus,
yeah,
I remember my memories of D23 turn into the one Hercules panel and then standing around doing nothing. So that's my entire memory of D23 last time. So, although I remember getting annoyed at hearing the new DuckTales theme song and going, why aren't they using the old theme song? And then...
You got to see the Winnie the Pooh panel.
Did I?
Yeah, Jim Cummings.
Oh, yeah, I did get to see Jim Cummings get interviewed. That was fun. And we got to see that preview for Coco, and then I fell asleep while like 80-year-old Disney cast members were talking. That was embarrassing. I'm sorry, like 80-year-old Disney cast members. We got put in the front row. We should not have been front row.
We also...
I was tired.
We also went to that panel with Bob Gurr and friends and John Lasseter talking about Disneyland food.
Was Bob Gurr part of that panel? I thought he was part of the... Wait, what con did we go to where they were talking about making
That was LA Comic Con. Also, Bob Gurr was also on the panel for the Sleeping Beauty
I recommend
panel.
going to LA Comic Con and going to a Bob Gurr talks about making the...
He's going to be at Midsummer Scream.
Omni Mover.
We'll be at Midsummer Scream, Jared.
He will talk about the Omni Mover. Ask him tons of questions. He loves talking about the Omni Mover. It is pride and joy. It's also a really awesome contraption he came up with.
Yeah, Bob Gurr, Tony Baxter, they were at the Sleeping Beauty Castle panel.
I guess we did do a lot. Did we go multiple days? Because it feels like we went into multiple days.
We went multiple days. Last time we went, it was like...
we did like Friday and Sunday?
Yeah, Friday and Sunday.
Yeah. So I guess there is more stuff that I did. It's just...
You just have like a very...
bleeds together, sort of.
Yeah, your memory's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah. I remember us standing in line trying to get a Star Wars book.
Yeah, because I wanted to get
Ahsoka?
the Ahsoka book signed.
And then
we also met Darren Nefsey.
Oh, right. We met...
And Adam, who voices Marco. Because he ran into
we're
us.
on his Instagram, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he did an Instagram with us.
Yeah, he did an Instagram with us. So it's awesome.
That's right. So we went as Marco and Star one day, and then we did no cosplays the other day, I think.
I think you did a Disney bound of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, that's right.
And then I cosplayed as the Tara Bellhop.
Right. I did that because of a certain cosplayer / bounder who said I'd look cute as Captain Nemo. And I was like, well, you always dress up as my favorite princess, therefore I have to do this. I haven't talked to her in forever.
Wait, who?
A certain person.
Okay.
She's named after a rare type of mineral. Jurassic Park.
I'm like Zoisite?
No.
Malachite? Shedite? Nephrite? Beryl?
No, the one made by hardened sap.
I just want an excuse to name all the first season Sailor Moon villains. Don't mind me.
La-di-da. La-di-da, Moon Princess.
I am.
La-di-da.
So let's talk about the Spider-Man Spider-Man Far From Home trailer.
Oh, right. That came out. Spoilers for Avengers, which at least the spoiler version of the trailer does warn you. I do appreciate that.
Thanks, Tom.
So the premise is Peter Parker's all like, hey, y'all, I'm going to totally go on a trip to Europe with my homies for school. And then Nick Fury's all like, hey, bro, you're part of S.H.I.E.L.D. now because I decided it. And he's like, nah, I'm cool. And Nick Fury's like, nah, I've decided this. Hey, remember that Superhero Registration Act thing we signed during Captain America Civil War? Yeah, guess what that means, bro? Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Mysterio comes from another dimension, which means he's intergalactic. And that made me realize what they're going to be doing for the next major Avengers thing, which is the Incursion story arc, which is probably going to be better handled than it was in the comics.
We like to be cautiously optimistic on this because even you had your doubts on the Civil War adaptation.
I really was worried about Civil War. That one, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Infinity War all had me nervous because of how much stuff they had to cover or just how weird things would be, / Rocket and Groot looking terrible as CG monstrosities. And Civil War, I actually very much enjoyed. It deviates significantly from the comics, but it kind of has to. And Rocket and Groot looked fine. And Infinity War was amazing. In fact, the only one I was actually right about on my worries was Age of Ultron.
Yeah, more like Age of Ulcer.
Which I was like, I don't even know where to begin of how this cannot work. And then it came together, and then we watched the movie, and guess what? It didn't work. So
I do like that scene where they're just hanging out at the apartment, and they're trying okay, who can lift up the hammer?
That was fun. Even that opening, let's go fight the bad guys, like cold open kind of team unit thing. I liked that as well. Like the whole first kind of 20 minutes of the movie isn't too bad. It's the rest of the movie that's problems.
Because I tried watching again to give it a second chance. Okay, I was watching Age of Ultron on an airplane. Maybe my experience is different. And then I tried watching it again on HD. I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep.
I mean, some of the fights are fine. The Hulkbuster versus Hulk is fine.
That was like one of the few good things about the movie.
Yeah. Quicksilver gets shot, and I'm like, that probably shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Although my belief for why Quicksilver died in the MCU is primarily because someone watched Days of Future Past and was like, we'll never compete with that. the dude from American Horror Story is a way better version of this character. Let's just kill this character off immediately. So they kind of do. And it's interesting because Wanda never references it, nor is she upset about it. And I only say this because in the Ultimate Universe, Wanda dies and freaking Quicksilver has a mental breakdown. Also, there's a lot of stuff that implies that the two of them were a little bit too close as twins. Little too close. Little Wincesty. Just a little. But yeah, Age of Ultron was the biggest problem with that one. And that was more because there should have been more setup for that and not just, and now Ultron. And then they blow him up and I go, I guess we're done. I'm like, okay. You do realize he functions very similar to Sigma in the Mega Man X universe and you can just download his brain into a new body, right? Whatever.
Well, either way, I'm looking forward to the new Spider-Man movie. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I actually did spot, if you go, only because I just recently was in Prague, a couple months ago. And I'm like, is that the St. Charles Bridge? Are we turning that into Love Confession Bridge? Okay.
Yeah,
well, in my defense, it was the same bridge where I wished a friend of mine would find true love, and she did. And it's also the same bridge where I wished for a car.
And you did.
So that's 2 out of 4 wishes. So I'm waiting on the other 2.
All right. Well, don't say what they are. They won't happen.
I won't say what they are.
The one thing I'm going to say about this movie is if we're going for the incursions as the main storyline for the next segment of the Avengers, that's one thing I didn't cover when we did our Endgame and the Aftermath kind of thing, because I didn't think they would go this direction. Now, this isn't working exactly like the incursions in the comics, but they don't necessarily need to work exactly like the incursions in the comics. Here's essentially what happened. Molecule Man from 616, the main Marvel dimension, went to another dimension and killed another version of himself. Long story. Anyhow, that caused a chain reaction that destroyed that dimension. And then dimensions are contracting into each other, colliding and exploding with Earth as the focal point. Eventually, it affects Earth 616, and the Avengers use the Infinity Stones initially to prevent it, but then it's going to happen again, and Tony Stark builds kind of a laser beam alongside Reed Richards and blows up another dimension in order to save their dimension. And then they do that a couple more times, because this story arc basically turns all our characters into genocidal maniacs. Except for Captain America, who got warped in time by the Infinity Gauntlet. So he was off doing time travel adventures, because otherwise he would be the moral compass telling people, hey, you know what's a good idea? Not blowing up other dimensions. Anyhow, the way an incursion works is basically our Earth and another Earth will overlap, and after X amount of time, they will fuse together, and the same matter cannot exist in the same space, so they basically blow up, causing a chain reaction that wipes out both universes. This will essentially happen until there's only one universe remaining. So one of the things that would occur while the Earths were kind of overlapping is there'd be little dimensional pockets where people could travel between the two dimensions. And in some cases, the Avengers worked together with their counterparts in order to try to save both worlds. That usually wasn't super successful. We also got new versions of characters because of this, and eventually we got that whatever. We got Secret Wars 3 or Secret Wars 2015, whatever you want to call it, because we're just reusing titles at this point, even in comics, because that doesn't get confusing when I talk about Secret Wars. If we're going this direction, I don't know if we're going to go full-on Secret Wars, but the Dimensions thing allows for a lot of new kinds of villains and alternate universe versions of characters, which could be kind of fun. It also sets something up that I'm going to predict now, and if it is a spoiler, well, I predicted it without having seen the movie or heard anything online. So let's see if I can predict this right. Since we have these dimension things, and it's in the Spider-Man movie, behind the scenes, this is the last Spider-Man movie Marvel can currently make with their current agreement with Sony. So unless they make another agreement with Sony, they can't use Spider-Man. They could probably use the same actor, you just have to play someone else, but he can't be anything Spider-Man related. That includes Ben Reilly, that includes, they can't do Miles Morales, they can't do Spider-Man Noir, they can't do 2099, nothing. They can do none of that. So my theory is this. At the end of the movie, Spider-Man will be lost in one of those dimensional portals, and he'll end up in some other world. And I think this works for two reasons. One, if they can't come to an agreement with Sony, and Sony starts making Spider-Man movies, and they want to use the same actor, it's the same character, but he's not in the Marvel Universe, and it has no playing on the Marvel Universe whatsoever. And they can use him, and he's just trapped in another dimension and just has to live life in that dimension. Two, if they do come to an agreement with Sony, they could do Spider-Man 3 even further from home when he finds a way back into the main Marvel Universe. Or he could be like brought back for Avengers because because Black Panther or Black Panther or one of Black Panther's friends / family members can science a way to bring Peter Parker back. And then he's like, oh, I'm back. Oh, thank goodness. And then Black Panther will be like, yes, Spider-Man, let's go. We need to fight some bad guys. Possibly King the Conqueror, because this is a filler movie like Avengers 2. Right. King. Got it. So it gives them options for bringing Peter back, and it gives them, an out if Sony decides they do not want to play nice. Because Sony had 2 successful Spider-Man projects recently. Venom, which made a surprisingly large amount of money and people generally liked. Well, it's kind of a paint by numbers, a little bit generic, according to most reviews. Most people said, that was pretty fun. And it made money, and that's the most important part. And then a little Oscar award-winning movie called Into the Spider-Verse. So if Sony can actually do Spider-Man right for once, excluding the Tobey Maguire years, well, the first 2 Tobey Maguire movies, those are pretty sweet, and then kind of gets derailed, then they might not want to let Marvel have Spider-Man again. So this could become a huge mess, and I think that's what the portals are there for. I think they're an out. Or potentially they're filming 2 endings. The Spider-Man gets lost in a portal ending, and the Spider-Man does not get lost in a portal ending. He thwips his way out of it at the last second.
Whips.
It's the sound of his webs. Whip. So he thwips his way out.
So let's say if he does get sucked into a portal, does that mean Sony gets the rights to use Tom Holland, or Tom Holland is done?
Well, here's the way it's going to go. Assuming that they don't come to the agreement and Sony has the rights, I don't think Tom Holland is contractually obligated to be Spider-Man for Sony, but they'd be fools not to hand him a giant sack of money saying, be in our Spider-Man movies.
Because he is gaining a lot of popularity.
Yeah. But the thing is this, if he's not contractually obligated to work with Sony, which I don't think that's how contracts work, I think he doesn't have to sign with them, and he could literally just go off and be Tom Holland in the reboot of Highlander, I guess. Why not? Let's put him in that. He'll be in the Highlander reboot that's been in development hell for the last 10 years.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, there's been a Highlander reboot they've been trying to do for a while. It just never got done. I think the biggest problem is you need a Scottish actor, but I'd settle for a Brit. Or screw it, we'll use a French Canadian. I mean, whatever we got. I love you, Christopher Lambert. You're a hero. And hell, Adrian Paul was British and not Scottish anyway, so. Or maybe he was Scottish, but his accent was much more British. I also like Adrian Paul. Adrian Paul is great too. I'm not saying Tom Holland would make a good Highlander. I'm just trying to say that he could potentially get into some other franchise. Hell, he could be in my Dick Tracy reboot as Dick Tracy.
I'd be okay with that.
He's a little young looking for Dick Tracy, but I can figure it out.
Oh, Young Indiana Jones Adventures.
Oh, yes. Make him Young Indiana Jones. Perfect. You want to do an indie reboot? Prequels? Tom Holland? Done and done. Moving on. So he has options, and I wouldn't be shocked if Disney didn't have some sort of, hey, I know Sony's going to pay you that much, but we have this other project right here. We really need a lead. Do you want to work with your friends here? So who knows? I would like Marvel and Sony to work out a deal where they get to use Tom Holland for, another 4 or 5 movies. I really like him as the character, and I would like to see more Spider-Man doing stuff. Even though I'm very worried about where the Avengers is going now that we've lost several key characters. And I'm really worried about those upcoming movies that they're talking about that I'm like, oof, this could be rough if this isn't done right. So I do have huge worries for this new era of Marvel movies, but Tom Holland is not one of them. So I hope they work it out. If they don't, I think I'd rather see him just do a new franchise than be Sony's Spider-Man. Mainly because Sony, especially after those leaks, a few years back, their leadership is not like people I really want to make money. They're the kind of people I want to lose all their jobs. So I'm not super keen on Sony milking money out of Mr. Holland. And trying to sell themselves as, hey, we're Marvel because, see, we got Spider-Man. I don't really want that. Just because of my sense of justice more so than anything else. It's kind of like how with like Paramount announcing that they will redesign Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Yeah, we're bringing that up. Because of the complaints, I'm down with that. And that shows to me that Paramount is willing to take steps to improve their spotty track record as of late.
But do you think they're going to meet the November deadline?
I think they will. I think they'll push their people to damn near death to achieve it. Because I think if they feel they can make more money by having a good Sonic and get some decent press, they'll do it. Now, the plot line and all of that is probably relatively generic. It seems like Sonic comes to our world, needs to get a MacGuffin to go back to his world, and, hijinks ensue. And it'll be paint by numbers, but if Jim Carrey gives a good performance, the voice actor for Sonic's pretty good in the trailer, and it's kind of a voice that doesn't seem to suit the body at all. And cop guy's probably going to be fine. Yeah, I recognize him, and I don't know why I recognize him. I don't know who plays cop guy in that movie. He looks very recognizable to me, and I can't place it. I feel really stupid when I find out, like, oh, he was such and such in that TV show you love. I'm like, oh, thank you. Now I can sleep tonight. But that's the bigger point is that Paramount was willing to listen to the fans and Sega. The problem is that shouldn't have ever happened in the first place. And that's a whole nother discussion of, hey, we have this IP, now let's completely change it. But I don't want to get, it's already 9:25, and I don't want to get, that's a discussion for a whole episode. If we want to do a whole episode discussion on that next week, let us know in the comments, and we will do it. But just to put this in brief, this shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. The fact that it was, and Paramount, instead of doing the whole, like, hey, you guys are haters, and you haven't even seen the movie, they literally said, oh, you don't like the design? It doesn't look enough like the original character? We'll fix that. We'll make it look more like the original character so that, you guys can really enjoy this movie because we want you to enjoy this movie. This is totally not a cash grab. Wink, wink. And I go, you guys shouldn't have said wink, wink at the end of that. Oh, we didn't mean to say that. We mean it's totally not a cash grab. We super love this franchise. That's why we want to make the character look right. And I go, this is a cash grab. I know it's a cash grab, but I'm more willing to go to the theaters if Sonic looks decent because I want to see Jim Carrey as Eggman. More so, really, than anything else in that movie. He looks like he'll be fun. He'll be Jim Carreying it up a bit, and I miss comedy Jim Carrey. So, but we'll wait and see. Just like I was recently having a conversation about how Detective Pikachu, I'm like really vaguely interested in kind of seeing that in theaters. Which I know is a lot of modifiers, but the reason I use those is because if I miss it in theaters, I won't care. But if I happen to have a free weekend and Detective Pikachu is in theaters, I'm kind of down. Ryan Reynolds would be funny, and
it's coming out this week. We could take my mom.
Guy, who's playing human. He's been in movies and stuff.
Ryan Reynolds?
No, Ryan Reynolds I thought Ryan Reynolds was the voice of
yeah,
Pikachu.
he is Pikachu. My bad.
I don't know who's playing human.
I don't know who's playing not Ash.
Yeah. But not Ash. I've seen him in other stuff. He's like Cop Guy in Sonic. He looks really familiar to me, and I just can't place his name, and I feel really bad about that. Nor am I looking at the cast list right now because I'm not holding my phone or anything. I'm talking into a microphone. So overall, I like it when a company will do that kind of stuff. That gives me more, like, I can't say faith in Paramount. Paramount's had a decent track record, though they have lost a lot of money recently, and they're scrambling to find a hit or a franchise, and I think they're hoping Sonic will be that hit or franchise just to kind of keep them afloat. Personally, I liked their horror movie stuff they've done. I think they should just try to reduce their budgets and focus on horror stuff for a while and use that to rebuild, because horror movies don't cost a lot and usually make a lot. But I'm not a movie executive, so what do I know? Let's dump a bunch of money into a Transformers movie that no one sees. You can do that too. It's also a good choice.
I still need to see Bumblebee.
I know. A lot of people still need to see Bumblebee. Half the people I talk to have the phrase, man, I saw those trailers and I kind of liked the movie, but I never saw it. They're like, yeah, no one did. That's why Paramount's not sure what to do with their next Transformers movie, because they're like, we tried to listen to people and then no one saw it. I'm like, no one saw it because last night was, or first night, or what the hell it was called, was terrible, as was Extinction, as was Part 3, whatever the hell the subtitle for that was, as was Part 2. In fact, everything other than the first one, kind of trash. And eventually, the wave caught up with them. Enough people stopped seeing it, and that caused the problem. And that hurt Bumblebee, which is super unfair to Bumblebee. And I think if Bumblebee had come out like 3-4 years in the future, I think it would have done better, because people would have been at that point of like, I'm willing to give Transformers another chance. I just think that people were at that point of like, no, Transformers has been utter trash lately, and I just don't care anymore. Like the fact that, with DC stuff, I don't think anything featuring Superman will do well for a while, just because the last few Superman movies have been terrible. And yes, I'm counting Batman v and Justice League in that set, but obviously people will go see Wonder Woman 2. If Aquaman gets a sequel, people will see Aquaman 2. But I'd point out that no one went to see Shazam. Shazam's numbers were not great. I've heard the movie's pretty good. It's just no one really went to see it. And now that Avengers is out, there's no reason to go see it. And I don't even know if Shazam's still in theaters right now, to be honest. Probably is, but not at what it was. And the movie looked too goofy and stupid to me, though I get it. If you have a kid who can transform into a superhero, then, it's going to be a little wacky. It's going to be a little bit like Big, where he's just trying to see what he can do and how he can do it. But I didn't really have a huge interest in seeing Shazam in the first place. Maybe we'll watch that on Netflix or something. I don't know. I don't really care that much, but that could eventually happen. So you got to be kind of careful with franchisee stuff, because if people just aren't in the mood, they're just not in the mood. And I think another thing, of course, that hurt Captain Marvel is... Captain Marvel... Shazam. Damn it. Okay, so probably when two companies have the same character name, though not the same character, obviously. Other thing that hurt Shazam is that people were looking forward to watching the Avengers. And so kind of when you have that taste for superheroes, you don't want like diet superhero. You want like full on awesomeness, let's punch Thanos in the face and save the universe level superhero-ness. Honestly, if Shazam had came out in like, let's just say hypothetically it comes out this November instead, it might do better. I don't know what's coming out this November, but I think putting it in a less competitive slot, I know they put it in like January, February or whatever, but like putting it a couple months ahead of Avengers is probably not a good idea. Putting it a couple months after Avengers, better idea. But it doesn't matter, because the only summer movie I care about is Hobbs and Shaw. So Hobbs and Shaw, Hobbs and Shaw, Hobbs and Shaw. Oh God, I haven't watched a Fast and Furious movie since Part 4, and I don't care. Like, this is tied into that. I just want to see The Rock and Jason Statham punch people in the face and do kicks and flips and shoot guns and spears. And they're going to take on what's his face? Idris Elba.
So, I even saw the trailer, and I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies since Part 3, because I kind of worked on the movie. And I'm down for this. And Idris Elba, I love him when he's like just doing super dramatic, and and I've said this for a long time, like, I want to see Idris Elba in a villain role.
Yeah, I think he'd be great in a villain role. He's going to be, well, this one he's going to be camping it up a little bit, I think, just because of the source material. But I think he's going to be amazing in that role. And I am so freaking excited for that movie. And it's really odd because you know me, I don't get hype like this. Even for like the Avengers movie, for Endgame and Infinity War, I was nervous going into both for very different reasons on both those movies. But I haven't been this excited for a movie in quite some time. I can't think of the last time I was this like hyped for something. I think it's because I'm feeling like this is a no-lose situation. Like, if it's cheesy, it's going to turn into like, an 80s kind of cheese action movie. I'm down with that. If it's super, if it's on a level of a Marvel movie, that's awesome. Like, I'm like, you got three great actors, excuse me, fighting each other in some over the top, basically a superhero situation. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see this going wrong. Every trailer I've seen has had some funny sequences, and oh god, it's just too much charisma for this movie to handle. If this movie was a character in D&D, its charisma would be like 22. And I am really hyped for this, and it is odd to me because I do not get excited about movies anymore. It's been a long time since I can think of being really excited for a movie. I would probably have to go back to maybe the early 2000s, maybe like Matrix Reloaded or something like that. I was probably pretty hyped for that, and that was a movie. Because I'm trying to think of like the last. Oh, excuse me, 2012, The Avengers. That was the last time I think I was this hyped for a movie. So it's been a good 7 years since I've been this hyped for a movie. Well, I remember finding out that Avengers was going to be releasing on my birthday, and I was going to midnight screening that thing. That was it. That was my night, man. I was so freaking hyped for that one. My birthday was celebrated by the power of the Avengers. And yeah, I think that was the last time I was this hyped. So I know we've completely veered off my topic about Spider-Man.
But we still stuck on Marvel nonetheless, and like summer movie hype.
Yeah.
Still kind of is related.
We're going to have to do a summer movie episode probably before we head out to Fanime in a couple weeks because...
So like sometime in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, because it's already May.
Moving season is like now?
Now. It kicked off
like right now?
It kicked off with Endgame, and it's going to keep going with Detective Pikachu's. It's Detective Pikachu's.
And then at the end of the month, we're going to get the new Godzilla movie.
Yeah, that should be pretty good. I'm hoping that'll be good. Honestly, I'm waiting for King Kong versus Godzilla because of Skull Island. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. And when that one gets announced and I see a trailer for it, I'll probably have the Hobbs and Shaw level of hype for that.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the new Godzilla movie. That should be fun.
Yeah, that'll probably be generally enjoyable. It'll be more monster fights, it sounds like, than the first one.
Because you got the whole family's there,
Yeah.
You got Mothra, you got Rodan.
Well, because in part one, you kind of have Godzilla fighting a couple generic monster guys that aren't like your name brand Godzilla monsters. And we don't spend a lot of time with Godzilla. It's a lot more following the one guy from Breaking Bad and then guy from Breaking Bad's son. And we don't spend a lot of time with Godzilla, and this one feels like we're going to get a lot more time with Godzilla. And look, I know people who say, like, oh, have you not watched the Japanese movies? They spend a lot of time without Godzilla. I'm like, I understand that. I fully understand that. I've seen plenty of Godzilla movies. But when you're trying to do a summer blockbuster thing, and a lot of it is human drama, and your B-plot is giant monster Rex stuff, you need to swap those. And I'm not saying you need to go full... Roland Emmerich, where it's like, I'm a divorced dad, but I'm trying to do my best. Oh no, there's a Godzilla's. Let's focus on Godzilla for the next 25 minutes, and then hopefully my character arc will resolve afterwards. No, I'm not saying do that. Roland Emmerich is better when he doesn't shove in like stupid like life drama. For example, in Stargate, where there's no stupid life drama. I mean, there's a brief mention of like why Major O'Neill, is he Major in that one, or is he a colonel at that point? He may still be a colonel. And he's a colonel in the TV series. I just can't remember if he's a colonel in the movie off the top of my head. I thought he was Major O'Neill, but let's just go with Colonel O'Neill. Why Colonel O'Neill is suicidal? Like, they actually explain why, and I'm like, okay. And then Daniel's like, you need to find a reason to live, man. You still got a wife out there who needs you and stuff. And he's like, you're right, I do. And I'm Kurt Russell, and I'm awesome. I forgot that was Kurt Russell there for a moment, so that kind of hurt me a little bit. And if I get older, I'll probably start looking like MacGyver. That won't be too bad.
Anyway, just moving on. We also sometime last week, reservations for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge went up, and they sold out in a matter of 90 minutes.
Yay! Can go on the Millennium Falcons, and so I could go on nothing else. That's all they got.
Well, we could always just go to the creature stall and just have some drinks, you know.
True. Could listen to DJ Rex drop the dope beats. No, but whoa, this beat is sick. I need to get on my disco stick.
You make him sound like Christopher Walken than Pee Wee Herman.
I know.
So basically, it opened up around 10 a.m. Pacific time. People were camping on their computers. By camping, just kind of like just staying on the website, hoping for it to refresh, because it kind of was like
game.
Yeah, it's actually wasn't so much a refresh button game. It was more so like just park yourself in front on a open browser tab, and then depending on what time you logged into the website, that would be your place in line.
No, that's different.
So even if you hit the refresh button, or if you close out to go back,
you would reset your position in line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were able to get our reservations around 11:15, and we just went for a weekday. So we'll just see how it goes. We actually do have plans for dressing up and.
Do we? Oh, right, we do.
We do.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And,
bounds will happen.
Yes, bounds will happen. Bounds are bound to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, actually, I'm actually kind of glad we got like one of the later dates, because I'm having paranoia that this is going to end up like Disneyland opening day.
Look, I'm just looking forward to the first couple of weeks of people posting online and just drinking margaritas with all the salt.
Is the salt from Crate?
Yep.
I need a Crate margarita.
And I want one of those Crate foxes.
Oh, the crystal foxes?
Yep.
I want a loft cat.
And my crystal fox. Shiny McShine Fox.
You heard it here first. You would name his crystal fox Shiny McShine Fox.
I'm bad at naming stuff.
How'd you name characters in your books, Jared?
I think of people I knew in high school or junior high and use their first names and mix them up with someone else's last name. Unless the characters are supposed to have a name that's referential to something else from pop culture, like Serenity. She has a pop culture, and not from the thing you think it is. She is not from outer space. She's from the Japanimes. But you have to be a hardcore 90s kid to actually know what Japanime character is named Serenity.
Any other news on Horizon? Well, I did read somewhere on Mice Chat that there are rumors that the Tron roller coaster might be coming to Tomorrowland during its refurbishment. Jared, what do you think about the Tron roller coaster fitting in our Tomorrowland?
I'd be down if that's a pretty cool ride. I would hope they will just destroy Autopia and replace Autopia with Tron, because I want Autopia gone.
Because I don't see the point of Autopia when we already have Cars Land.
A, that. B, the freaking fumes.
Yeah, if this is the future, it smells like Los Angeles.
Like, if it was electric cars in there with no fumes, but even then, that's not really tomorrow. That's Todayland. We have electric cars. Unless the cars were drone cars, in which case that would be kind of tomorrow, but then...
It kind of takes out the fun of driving the car.
Yeah, then if you want to be in a drone car, it's called Cars Land the Ride. That's a drone car. As far as I know, you don't actually get to control that. I never sit front seat, but if I did, I probably wouldn't be the driver. Because the car drives him or herself, because that's what they do. So I want Autopia gone, replace it with Tron. I am down with that.
Because there's also talks of just leveling all of Tomorrowland, but save Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Just build something new on top of it. And I'd be
I'm very much for that, yes.
I'd be okay with that.
Well,
and they were also talking about rerouting the monorail because it kind of has to go like in a couple of loops around to go into the monorail station.
Mm-hmm.
They want to just do a direct line on there rather than just looping around. Like, here's the spires of It's a Small World. Now we're passing by the Matterhorn.
I kind of like the tour guide aspect of it, but I would like it to be a faster ride in general. Yes, if the straight line would make me happy.
Mono means one, and rail means rail.
The solar eclipse, the cosmic dance, continues on. Does anyone else want to change seats with me? But yeah, I'm very much for that. And as for Star Tours, I'm sure they can move the assets into somewhere in Star Wars land. And don't tell me this whole every building's going to be used. That's bullcrap. I've seen that model, and they've told me how many things there are there. So no, tons of those spaces will be left open for other stuff. Throw Star Tours in there. Let my Tomorrowland be a real Tomorrowland with Space Mountain and other space-related stuff.
Okay, if they're going to logistically move Star Tours in there, I'd like to see a newer version of the Endor ride.
I would like to see them basically set it up that each of the ships you could go into will just be a specific era. And yes, one of them be the Endor Express. That would be amazing. Because
I miss that trench run, and I like driving to the trench run music because I'm a nerd.
So, just like, if you got number 1, you got prequels. Number 2, you have Empire. Number 3, you have New Era. And number 4, you get Endor Express. And that would be freaking great. And of course, like Guardians of the Galaxy, if you memorize which one is which one, you'll know what you're getting before you get in there. So you'd be one of those things where you're like, 2, nice. We're going to go to Hoth. Woo! Or, 1, we're going to go to Naboo's. We're going to see the Naboo's. Who's ready to go to the Naboo's? Woo! And if you get 3, you go, oh, God damn. Fine. Which is my general response to that one every time it happens. Every time I see the Millennium Falcon in the opening, I'm like, oh, damn it. We just got freaking New Era again. Whenever I see Darth Vader, it makes me so happy. I'm like, yes, Vader. I even like the prequel-y stuff, because at least then you get like Yoda giving you a mission and stuff like that. But man, every time I see that Millennium Falcon, I'm immediately pissed off because I immediately know it's the new stuff, and I don't care. I ain't going to Jakku again, but I still have to freaking go there every damn time.
Sure, the fin of our group.
And yes, Endor Express, bring that back. Or at least set it up so that on like Star Wars night or something, it'll be the Endor Express as your only option.
I would be down with that.
And that would be fine, even if it's like a limited time event thing. And I'm going to get pissed because some dumbass Imagineer is going to do the whole, but then it's not continuity for shut the hell up about continuity. This is a theme park. As it turns out, I'm not really in the Enchanted Forest when I'm on the Snow White ride. I'm not actually riding on Dumbo's back. I am not actually on Casey Jr. with all the animals. I am not actually... Storybook Land is using forced perspective. I'm not actually on a boat to a magical land where every single Disney character happens to live across the street from each other. Okay? So, fudge you.
They don't live across the street from each other. They live in different worlds where you have to get onto gunny ships, Jared.
This is true. So, 1, fudge you. Imagineers, you keep doing that stupid continuity BS. And 2, people love the Endor Express. Don't be a dick. So, yeah, and then completely level everything except for Space Mountain and start from scratch. I like the subs, but I've heard they keep having like maintenance issues. And it's a real bummer to lose Finding Nemo, but Finding Nemo really isn't Tomorrowland-ish anyways.
It's a cool immersive ride. Even with a Nemo overlay, I still enjoyed the submarine ride.
Yeah, I do too, but I think
I can say goodbye. I can say goodbye to that one and know that I had some good memories on that ride.
I think turning it into some sort of Voyage into Inner Space version 2 might be kind of interesting. Like dome up that area and you get into your super sub that'll go be injected into the bloodstream and then you see bloodstreamy stuff. That could be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise it doesn't feel futuristic to me because it's a submarine and we've had them since the 1930s. Possibly the 1920s. I can't remember exactly when submarines first were created. We actually may have had them in World War I, come to think of it. We've had submarines for a while. So they're not futuristic. nor are cars that just spray out poisonous fumes.
Especially if they're Hondas.
Oh.
And I drive a Honda.
Now, if you want to make some sort of new version of People Mover, I'm down with that. If you're going to tear everything down anyways, you could rebuild a new People Mover type thing and make that the drive around and have the voice go, those are the spires of Small World. Oh, God, that took me way too long to remember. And hey, there's the Space Mountains. And if you look off in the distance, you can see the Star Wars.
Because what I liked about the People Mover is that it actually took you through inside of Space Mountain, even though you couldn't really see it. And I also liked it when the People Mover went into the Star Tours ride.
Yeah.
And I love having to explain to people what Tron is anytime we went to the Tron section of it.
Well, my biggest annoyance for years of my life was I went on a Tron ride. I know I did. And it was like, there's never been a Tron ride. I'm like, there was some sort of Tron ride.
And that was within the People Mover.
And then eventually, I met Disney APers who were like, oh, it's People Mover. Why do they call it People Mover? Because you went around different things. And then one section, you went into the grid. I'm like, thank you. Why are you crying? Everyone thought it was crazy. Nowadays, it called some sort of Mandela effect, but it was not a Mandela effect. It was real. I was there. And now there's video footage and stuff too that double proves me. So I'm double right. Yes, give us the Tron ride. Give us some new concepts. You know what? They can keep Astro Blasters, actually. I like Astro Blasters. Keep that. Everything else can go. And it's Space Mountain, Astro Blasters, everything else level. No more flying saucers. No more Astro Orbiter. None of that garbage.
They said they want to bring back Astro Orbiter, but put it in its original location.
I don't even remember its original location.
It's right on top of where you board for People Mover.
Oh, that's right.
So you're a couple stories up.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, the Imagineer who was assigned to redo Tomorrowland for 1998 was in charge of that project. For the responsibility of the Astrojets. He's afraid of heights. He didn't want the job, so he was like, okay, we're moving the Astrojets to the ground level because he was afraid of heights. So the story
then they should have flopped him with someone else.
Back in the day, if you were offered a job, you took it.
Okay.
So it's just one of those no way out type things. Later on, he was then transferred to work on stuff for Tokyo Disney Seas.
All right.
Talented guy, but not every job.
Welcome to the Dumbo ride. This is called Dumbo Walks Around in a Circle. And I hope you really like it. This will allow everyone to see what it would be like if you rode on the back of a small elephant. Does he fly? Absolutely not.
I don't think you could ride Dumbo in Tokyo Disney Seas, but they do have that underground aerial undersea playground type thing that's kind of like a Bugs Land, but Little Mermaid.
I've also created the Peter Pan ride, everyone. And in this one, you're hanging out with Peter Pan when he's not flying. You're just hanging out, walking through the forest here in Neverland, and that's the whole ride. You just a walkthrough, like that first part of E.T., but instead of the fun part at the end, that's it. It's just you walk through.
They do have
There's no flying, none of that garbage.
In Tokyo Disney, it's like the magic carpet,
super,
but kind of like Dumbo.
Super safe for everyone. You never leave the ground, so it's perfectly awesome. So everyone, like the Lego Movie, everything is awesome. That's how this was designed to be. We're all good here. How are you?
And we also did the, let's see. We already talked about Knott's last week about the Boysenberry Festival, which was delicious.
Yep.
And Ghost Town Live's coming up next.
Yep. Kind of want to do, probably in June or something, we can do an episode where we talk about the previous one. Not only because I think we have technically talked about it before, but more or less to explore some of the spoilers of what the whole storyline had in store. Although I'm wondering how many of the side quests will still be the side quests. So I'm kind of, I don't really want spoilers for the side quests because I want to kind of continue with them if we can do that again. We also need to decide who our RPG team is for when we decide to RPG that section, and also who we're going with.
This is true.
So I'm down with some RPG bounding again and doing this thing. Plus, I like the fact that they're super chill with us just putting in the character names instead of real names for signing in to town and stuff.
We would put there actually is proof that we actually did sign your name as Ignacientia.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yep. Yes, it was in that category of someone signed for me because I am visually impaired, which is a running thing in my life. I look forward to having a really talented assistant who can forge my signature for like everything.
All right.
I've heard of this Ripley man. He seems to be pretty talented, so maybe I'll call on him.
So is this it for the show tonight?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we had a pretty good talk about a couple different things here and there that's on the horizon.
That's what we do, and don't want to be staying up too late. It's almost 10 o'clock already anyways. All our East Coast listeners are already asleep.
Let's see whether they're listening live, or they could tune on to our YouTube page here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely we'll let everyone know when the next Disneyland After Dark event is going on. So if anyone else wants to join us, they totally can. I don't think we should have another one of those for at least several months.
They haven't announced anything new for their upcoming Disneyland After Dark events. They don't even have one for Star Wars coming up. Because a lot of people are predicting, like, oh, I wonder if they're going to have like a soft opening exclusive Disneyland After Dark thing for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and sell tickets at like $300, like what they did with Pixar Pier.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out like, just free reservation system. Pick a date, pick a time, and you get it.
I think that's more the point of Disney doesn't want to charge people an excessive amount of money to then have them get really pissed off when nothing works.
This is true. Because at least you could say with Pixar Pier, it's like more of the same stuff there, and like you can't really break down on California Screamin' or Midway Mania.
Yeah.
Or should I say Incredicoaster, which is essentially California Screamin'.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been tested and tried before. Yeah.
So everything there was already kind of working, and anything that wasn't there yet still isn't there quite yet, other than Critter Carousel's now up. But what, have we had like another month or so before we get Emotional Whirlwind?
I don't know what's the opening date on Emotional Whirlwind, but it's looking to be pretty much close completion. Yeah. I did see the module for the mine up there with the memory balls when we were there.
Yeah, and the control console's there from some photos and stuff. So it should basically be done. Probably some testing and what have you, and then it'll be good. We'll go into flips flyers into your brain.
I don't like bugs in my brain.
Yeah, well.
But I do like it inside out. Okay, this has been another edition of A Stream and Scarlet. Tune in next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. And you could also check out our archived episodes on our YouTube channel. And we will see you at the con.